So now we understand what an array is, and how one looks like in pseudocode, how to identify an element within that array using its index. I'm going to show you in this video how to implement one in Python. So you can see here I've already set up my comments, and from this point onwards, as I've said in the comment video, you should be commenting on all of your not every line, that makes it look messy, but every key part of your code, so that when you go back to it, you know what that part's doing. So you can see here defining a list. So that's where we're going to start. I'm calling them lists because an array doesn't exist in Python, as I've already said before. If you go on and take A level, I will gladly explain the differences between an array and a list. However, in GCSE level, you need to know that array and a list is very, very similar, and in Python we use lists instead of arrays. So I'm calling it a list, but it means it's an array. Okay, so defining one, simple as, all we do is we're going to give it a suitable identifier name, just as we would if it was a variable. So for example, if I want to store a load of colours in it, I would call it colours. If I want to store a load of toys in it, I would call it toys. And in fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to call it toys. And assignment, let me move my cursor out of the way so you can see, again, is that equals sign. And we use the square brackets. That's not square brackets here, and inside that we're going to put all of our elements of our array in there. Now if it was a numbered array, so a list of numbers, I would literally just put the numbers, no quotes around them because they are integers, or I could do them as floats, for example, but my toys is going to be a list of strings, so it's a string data type, and I'm going to put in there some toys. So I have a ball, a doll, however you say it. What other toys? Toys. Gosh, now I'm stuck. A ball, a doll, a game. I'm getting stuck for lists of toys. A bear, a teddy. We call it a teddy. And one more. I should have thought about this before. A skipping rope. There you go. Okay. There we go. So I have now a list that's representing an array in this particular instance in time, assigned, okay, with ball, doll, game, teddy, skipping rope. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements within this array list. Okay, so printing the contents of the list. Simply, I need the print statement, open close, normal brackets, the curved ones, a parenthesis, and I'm just going to print toys, because toys is the identifier name for my list. And let's run this. Okay, I'd already saved it before, and we'll see what it looks like. Boom, there you go. So you can see I have ball, doll, game, teddy, skipping rope. Lovely. So setting up or defining a list, identifier name, assignment, square brackets either side, and the items that you want in there separated by a comma. And we have to have them in there in order to be able to use that. They need to be there. So if I want to print a specific element of a list, let's say I wanted to print element 1. So I would put print, open close brackets, and I would refer to toys. But instead of toys just printing all of it, I'm going to open and close a square bracket and identify the index of the element that I would like to print. So the index of the first element is 0 because they're all 0 indexed. So let's have a look at what that does. Press F5 and run it. I think I might have done that a little bit too. Nope, there we go. So we've got the print statement at the top, ball, doll, game, teddy, skipping rope. That was this print statement, printed all of them. And now it's just printed ball. I'm going to get rid of, and I'm going to hash it out actually. Hash that out so we can just see the ones that are printed. So I'm going to print this time toys, and I'm going to print the element 3, which is at index 2. And let's see what happens then. Oh, you see here, no brackets. So although the error is saying down here, remember it ignores all of this comments. So the error occurred down here because that's where it's got to. But this is the last bit of actual interpretable code. So that's where the error occurred. And it would print now ball and game, because game is the second element. Well, it's the third element, but it's the second index. So 0 is the element that's indexed at 2. 0, 1 and 2. Okay. So if we want to change an element's value, what I would need to do is I'm just going to overwrite. Remember, in a variable, if I had a variable and I signed it with one thing, and then I got the same variable name and I signed it with something else, it would be overwritten. It's exactly the same as in a list. So if I then put toys, that does not say toys, toys, and then indicated the element. So let's go to again. Okay, so at the element 3, which is at index 2, and then I'm going to assign that a different value. Now I've got to think of another toy now. I know it's not a toy, but I'm going to do book because there's one on my couch so I can see it. Okay, so toys 2 equals book. Okay, I'm going to leave these two print statements here so you can see that I initialized it with toys. I'm going to print out toys 0, toys 2, and then I'm going to print print toys 0 and toys 2 again after having changed toys 2, so at position 2, that to book, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so the first two prints, ball game, that was for these two, and then it now says ball book because I've updated toys 2 in position 0, 1, 2, game with book, and now it's printed book.